Hey everybody, it's David. Welcome back to the channel. I have for you a contest entry video for Robert at Robert's on My Turntable. He just recently surpassed the 700 subscribers milestone, and to show his gratitude, he's given back to the vinyl community and hosted a contest in which one lucky winner will get a $30 gift card to Amazon. He's got one challenge for us to do that's pretty easy. It is for us to share 5 albums that were influential to us as teenagers. I turned 13 in 1990, so my teenage years and early 20s were spent in the 90s. So you can imagine grunge was a heavy influence on me. But it wasn't all grunge for me. You had classic rock artists doing Unplugged specials. The Beatles were being celebrated and there was an anthology special. Britpop was another big thing in my life. So I've picked 5 albums that kind of encompass all those things. And we'll start things off with one that was probably the biggest influence on me. Eric Clapton, Unplugged. Everyone's favorite wanker.
Hey, Eric Clapton, when did you become such a wanker?
I saw this special on MTV. I was just starting to learn how to play guitar. And so Layla Unplugged version and Tears in Heaven were 2 of the very first songs I learned how to play. I'm self-taught, even though, my dad plays guitar, he taught me some cowboy chords, but it was really taking the time and sitting down with the headphones on, learning a little riff, rewinding it, making sure I had it right, and repeat until I finally had it down. I still don't have it down perfectly, but yeah, Eric Clapton Unplugged was a huge influence on me. This album made me go back and explore his earlier catalog, his works with Cream and Blind Faith, Derek and the Dominoes, and his solo stuff from the 70s and 80s. So I am a huge Eric Clapton fan. I know a lot of people have kind of fallen out with him recently with this whole anti-vax COVID bullcrap, but he's always going to have a special place in my heart. So Eric Clapton Unplugged. The Beatles, the White Album was a big one for me too. I think it was CBS was showing the anthology specials. I bought all of the anthology albums on CD. My best friend in high school was the biggest Beatle fan that I knew at the time, and he really turned me on to the Beatles. He let me borrow Help and Beatles for Sale. I really enjoyed those 2 albums, but the specials aired on TV. We got to see kind of a behind-the-scenes look at some of the early demos of some of their biggest hits and stuff. But the White Album has just always been one that I've liked personally the most from the Beatles. It has my favorite song from the Beatles, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, on it. George, in fact, is my favorite Beatle. But I just really liked that this album had all kinds of styles of music on it. It wasn't just straight pop rock. I mean, you had, songs like Rocky Raccoon that was kind of folky. You had Helter Skelter, which was kind of a heavier rock song. And you had the fun songs like Obla-Dee Obla-Da, Sexy Sadie. I mean, just an album that encompassed so many different types of music styles. So the Beatles' White Album is one of my favorites. So this one came out in 1991. Kind of introduced everyone to grunge music. Yeah, you had bands like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and other bands that were heavily influencers of grunge, but Nirvana Nevermind was the one that kind of just blew everyone's mind. It was lo-fi almost, and the guitars were really just kind of heavy and distorted. Kurt Cobain's lyrics weren't always, they were almost nonsensical, but a big album for everyone that I hung around with. This was a huge album. Smells Like Teen Spirit, on MTV was always on rotation. In Bloom, Lithium, Polly. I mean, not a bad track on this album. I learned to play a lot of these songs as well. Have in fact recently gone back and have started relearning some of these songs the correct way. But yeah, Nirvana has always been a big album, a big band for me, and this album in particular is really what turned me on to the band. So Nirvana Nevermind. The next album I want to share with you is also from a grunge band, Turntable Pilots. I personally think that Scott Weiland was one of the greatest voices. I hate that we lost him so soon. He had a history of battling drugs and other substances, but I always really liked Scott's vocal delivery. I really like Dan DeLeo. His guitar work is just phenomenal. It just kind of beckons back to, I hear a lot of Led Zeppelin influences on his playing, but yeah, STP is just one of my favorite bands. They have a new lead singer who sounds a lot like Scott, but he also has his own quality, so it's good that we have the new singer that can remind us of Scott, but also can carry forward and help deliver some of the new songs that are being written. So STP is one of my favorite bands from the 90s and into 2000s. I still listen to them quite a bit, and again, hate that we lost Scott so soon, but we've got a legacy of fantastic albums from STP to reflect back on. So Turntable Pilots. And the last one I want to share with you is not grunge. This is Britpop. And this is Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory. I am a massive fan of Noel Gallagher. I like Liam too, but I tend to support the Noel Gallagher camp more than Liam Gallagher camp. I do appreciate what Liam has done as a solo artist recently, but I just have always liked Noel Gallagher's songwriting. I mean, he was essentially the brains behind the band. He wrote 90% of the songs that they released on albums. I always really enjoyed the B-sides that came out on the singles, and had really wished they were on the albums. But yeah, Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory, Wonderwall was one of the first songs that exposed me to Oasis. Anyone that can play guitar probably has learned how to play Wonderwall. It's just a great song. This is a great album. It had, some heavy Beatles influences that were apparent on this album. You got T-Rex influences on some of the other albums. I just really, really like Noel Gallagher's songwriting. His guitar playing isn't anything really impressive, and in fact, I learned to play a lot of guitar from listening to Oasis, and it's really been a big influence on my guitar playing. So Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory is my 5th album that was heavily influential on me. So there you have it. Those are 5 albums. My tastes are all over the map. I could show you probably another 5 albums that were influential on me, but I'm going to keep it limited to this for now. So if anyone is not subscribed to Robert on my turntable, I will leave a link down below. Go check him out and show him some support. And that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all are doing well. And until next time, take care. Thanks.